Hi, fam. It's Monday night, and I decided that since it is like 50 degrees, it's 50 degrees in Florida, and this is the kind of stuff that's going on. That's how crazy we are. And I have friends all over the place in oh, Stephanie, you're Wisconsin, right? Um, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Chicago, where it is like so much colder, and we look like a bunch of pussies that we freak out when it gets cold like this. But this is what's happening right now in South Florida. Um, and so I'm going to embrace it. We're in sweaters and hats and coats. Some people are in Uggs. And that's what happens when it goes below 60 degrees in South Florida. Everybody freaks out and goes into like winter hibernation mode because it's cold for us. So yeah, snow day today, and school's canceled tomorrow and Wednesday, which is crazy even for us. Yeah, I'm sorry, Stephanie. I don't know what you have, like 5 children, so I don't know what you're going to do about that situation, but you should lock yourself in a room for an extended amount of time tomorrow if you can. Um, Wind chills down to -50 and 60. No, nope, can't do it. Can't do it. Oh, my mom is here. Hi, Kelly. I see you're here. So we're going to do things a little bit differently on Monday nights because my husband told me that since this is actually a show, it's not like a one-off thing. I have a weekly show, that there needs to be like a little bit more of a format. So obviously I can't stick to I like to go off on tangents, so I can't really be married to something specific. So we're going to have a little bit of a format so people know what to expect, and maybe you guys can give me feedback on the kinds of things that you'd like to put into each of these categories. So the way it's going to work is there'll be a topic of the day. So we'll spend some time talking about that. There'll be a vent sesh. So we'll spend some time bitching and complaining about something that's annoying all of us. And I can't promise I'll have solutions for it. So I know you're not supposed to bring up problems unless you have solutions, but I can't do it all. And then something I'm loving. So I'm going to share with you a product or service, something that I have been using that I love. And we're going to do all those things. There may be some other odds and ends that get tied in there, but that's what we're going to do. Stephanie, what are the drinking rules for me? That's a tough one because normally I would say you probably shouldn't drink during the day, early in the day with your children, but you have 5 of them home. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, friend. My mom says, thank you. What are you thanking me for? Carol, it is cold, right? It's cold out. It was good during the day once the sun came out a little bit, but it is chilly out there right now. So that is what our format's going to be. So I decided, based on a recent post that I did yesterday, our topic of the day, especially as women and mothers particularly, we're going to talk about your tribe, your village, your girl gang, whatever the term you use is, because it's a big deal. So get your wine. I like to drink my feelings in terms of what it says on the cup. So today I'm feeling Meshuggah, which is another variation of the word Meshuggah, which is Yiddish for crazy. That's how I feel. Oh, my mom wanted to thank me for moving the plastic. I know, it's really annoying. You should see what goes on in this closet before this show even starts. I basically have an aggressive fight with my hair and face because I don't like how anything looks, and I'm like pulling at my hair, like pulling at my face. I have like a moment that I should probably videotape and be really vulnerable so you can see what happens behind the scenes. It's not pretty. Okay. Topic of the day is our village. So I wrote I wrote a post yesterday about basically what it means as a woman and a mother to be surrounded by people who lift you up and support you, because I think it's very important. Motherhood is so hard every day, even on a good day, even when your kids are perfectly behaved. There is so much. There's logistics and mouths to feed and clothing to wash and houses to maintain, and it's craziness, and so it's hard. And so if you're not surrounded by people, whether they're friends or family, whoever it is that's in your little circle that lift you up and kind of get you through it, it can be very, very alienating and polarizing. And that's true, I think, for any aspect of your life, personal and professional. So I'm very lucky that I have an incredible group of girlfriends that I've grown up with most of my life. Most of my friends date back to kindergarten. I have a couple of friends who we have been friends since we were 5 years old. And then I have a couple of friends that we've been friends since we're 13. So I have a very long track record with my girlfriends. And they're amazing, but they don't do what I do professionally. They all do different stuff. And so when I decided, and they're incredibly supportive, like whatever I'm going through in my life, they will drop anything and I would do the same for them. And we're just very tight and we're very close, and I could not ask for better friends. And when outsiders meet my friends or they get brought into the fold, they all say the same thing about how lucky I am. And I know that I am. I don't ever take it for granted. But when I ditched my whole corporate gig and I decided that I was going to write full time and fall into the whole mommy blogger bucket and all of that stuff, I was equal parts excited and scared, but I felt like I needed a little village. I'd always worked in a job where I was in an office and I had a work family. And I love that feeling. I love being surrounded by people professionally who can identify with what you're doing, can give you advice, can give you feedback. And I just didn't have anyone in my life that was doing exactly what I was doing. There were people I knew who were writing, there were people I knew who were doing stuff on social media, but nobody was really doing all of the day-to-day stuff that I was doing. So I started to reach out locally to bloggers and writers who I knew were doing somewhat similar stuff, a little bit different content, but similar circles. And a few of them were wonderful. I mean, they could not have been more gracious and lovely and welcoming. But if I'm being honest, most of them were not. They would be friendly to my face. And, you know, maybe they'd return messages, maybe they wouldn't. But when it came down to it, if there were events happening locally or things that were going on that they were organizing or involved with, I was always magically left off of invite lists every time. There's a couple where it never happens and I'm at a lot of food related things and they're wonderful, but the people who are doing similar mommy blogging stuff to me, for whatever reason, would just not include me. And I have never been that girl. I'm not an excluder. I'm not a mean girl. And whether it was purposeful or not, it was very defeating to me because I felt like I had just gotten my life back on track in terms of personally. I had gotten remarried and my life was just looking up. I'd gone from being broken, from being through a divorce and all the things that come through it, to picking my head up and standing up and dusting myself off. And professionally, I just wanted that. Thanks, Kim. Thank you. I wanted that network of people. And I did work briefly at a company down here, which was a whole nother shit show. If you are looking for a fun blog to read, you can search on my blog That Time I Quit My Job and see what that's all about. But I did make a couple of friends there that I'm still in touch with that were wonderful, but still not that camaraderie. So once I started to get left off a lot of lists, and once I wasn't really feeling like I was welcome, whether it was purposeful or not, I decided, you know what, screw this. I'm better than this. I'm not going to sit and wallow in people who clearly want nothing to do with me for whatever reason, whether it's purposeful or not. And I'm going to just make it happen. I'm going to figure it out. And I had been following all of these amazing women on Instagram who create memes and write articles for a lot of the publications I write for. And we have very similar work lives right now. And I started to just kind of put myself out there and talk to a lot of them on DM and share a lot of their memes. And before I knew it, I was being invited to collaborate with them. And now when I tell you that I have ongoing conversations with so many of them, it's not to be believed. And I feel closer to a lot of these women than people that I've met down here professionally, which is weird because they live all over the place. I mean, from like Kansas City to Canada to Sweden, they're everywhere, but we all are in contact every day. And what it taught me was something very important, was that you, and I wrote about this in the post, is that you sit there and you look for your village. You look for the people to be your support. You look for the people to, you know, make you feel really good about yourself, especially when you're feeling down on yourself. And sometimes they're not in your backyard. They're not where you'd expect them to be, but it doesn't mean they don't exist. And so, oh, Diane, I'm so proud of everything you've done. Thank you, my love. I'm proud of everything you've done. You're like this rock star reporter who always looks camera ready and perfect, and you're pretty incredible yourself, mama. So, you know, I think that it's important when you, because I've gotten a lot clear. I didn't expect it to resonate as much as it did, and you guys don't see what happens behind the scenes. But when I post one of these heartfelt things on Instagram, you see it. Maybe you like it. Maybe you comment. But the magic for me, aside from the amazing comments, is I get so many messages from people saying, you know, just spilling their heart out and telling me how happy they are that I voiced it. And that's magical to me. And Kate, you're here. I'm just talking about my virtual tribe and you're in it. So how wonderful is that? So I felt it was really heartwarming because there were so many women who reached out and said, basically, I'm paraphrasing because there were a lot of them who said, you know, I have been searching and searching and searching for my tribe and I can't find women who I connect with. And it's disheartening because I have babies and I want to have play dates and I want to get together. And it may not look like that for you. It just might not. Sometimes people suck, you guys. Sometimes people are just not good people. And they're not your people. And so what I learned was that while I have my people locally who are indefinitely my people, I have made this whole network of women part of that little village that we all like to have. And they are so awesome. Kate, I saw your beanie and was like, wait, hold up. Cute. And it's not from the beanie scammers. I don't even know where this is from. I figured you missed the beginning, but I was saying it's like 50 something degrees here in South Florida. And so this is what's going on. Everyone's losing their minds. So I'm paying a little homage to it. Plus I was hating how my hair was looking on top. So I feel like it distracts from that whole situation. But Kate, who just commented, she's part of that tribe. I've never met her in real life. We talk on a daily basis. We're all sharing stories about our kids and our husbands and the shit that goes down every day. And when you have people like that to vent to and commiserate with and laugh with and bitch with things, you know, bitch about things with, it makes your professional, personal, whatever aspect, it makes it that much better. And so to the people who all messaged me and were saying how they were having a really hard time connecting with other women. And I do think, you know, listen, I'm from South Florida. I love South Florida, but South Florida is tough. I can't speak to all the other regions. I've lived in a few different states, and I've never really seen a lot of the dynamics in other places that go on down here. It's a tough crowd, and I think it's very cliquey. And there's a lot of people who just, you know, they just aren't interested in being diplomatic and friendly and nice. They have no filter, but not in a good way. And so you have to kind of like play Frogger and get around those people and find the good people because they're there and they exist. So all the local people who basically gave me the shaft, didn't want me at their events for whatever reason and would pretend they didn't know I was left off lists, it's fine. I found my people. You leaving me out drove me to those people and gave me things that I couldn't imagine because those people have changed the course of my career. The amount of people who I've connected with because of their relationships and how much my social media audience has grown and how much my stuff gets published, it's all because of, I believe it's all because of that karma and like the connections you make and the people that you bring into your lives and the relationships you nurture. And so if it wasn't for all of those people kind of giving me the shaft, this might not have happened. And so I'm very grateful for that. Kate, true that, Rachel. Rachel knows a lot about my real life more than a lot of my real life friends. Yep. This kind of connection is amazing. The mommy clicks are brutal. Finding your tribe is invaluable. And Meredith, I know you get it too, because you're in this world also. But, you know, it's not so easy. I think it's very hard. I think people these days, are tough. Everyone is ultra sensitive. You kind of have to feel people out before you know what you're allowed to joke about and what you can, you know, say without pissing someone off. And I feel like we're in a very volatile state. And so when you find people that you can connect with and you don't have to worry about those things because you know you're not going to piss anyone off, it just makes it so much easier. So I guess, Alyssa, classism is very real and makes it hard locally. I believe that 100%. My whole point about this whole topic of the day rant about finding your village is do not get discouraged if you haven't found like all these wonderful mommy friends at school or, you know, at Starbucks or wherever you're spending your days. I promise you they're out there. It just may not be how you envisioned it. It may not be someone that you run into every day at the carpool line. It may just be someone that you speak to online on a regular basis. And that used to seem creepy. And that's why we have shows like Catfish, because people do crazy things online. But when you find like-minded people, whether they live locally or not, and you connect with them, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. The amount of peace and compassion and understanding that I get from women I have never met in my life but are doing what I do, so we just understand each other, is invaluable. So just understand that. Okay, so that was this is going to be hard for me, you guys, sticking to like a thing, but Jason says I have to do this. He says if this is going to be a real show, I have to have a format. All right, so topic of the day, village. We're done with that. We're moving on. I hope you all find your village, and if you haven't, you can totally be in mine. I don't exclude anyone. You can totally be in my village, but you have to be nice, and you have to have a good sense of humor, and you have to be able to laugh at yourself and not take everything so seriously. Those people are not my people. All right, the vent sesh part of this is kind of going to play off of the whole village social media thing. So there are crazy people on social media, like bananas crazy, to the point where some days when I read some of the messages that I get, or even the public comments, I wonder what the hell I'm doing and why I'm doing this, because some people are just assholes. They are assholes. So, and I don't even know if all of it is malicious, and some people just don't understand social etiquette. I don't know. I don't know why it happens this way, but I'll tell you this much. I get all the creepy messages every woman on social media gets. You know, like yesterday I got one from some man in Saudi Arabia who opened with, hey, tell me more about yourself. Where are you located? Yeah, okay, buddy. why don't I just give you my driver's license? How about that? Like, it's not going to happen. Carol, sometimes you gain the most from places and people you never expected. Preach, sister. It's exactly what I'm saying. So when I get messages like that of someone who clearly does not seem like a good person and is just looking to get more information on me, it just immediately gets banned or blocked from my page. That's it. That's like one level of the craziness on social media, but they don't ever see the light of day because they're gone before anything ever happens. I block that shit really fast. Then you get the whole slew of messages from people, and I talked about this last week, who are always trying to sell you something. And it makes me crazy because there's always this, I don't mind the sale and I don't mind the hustle, but know your audience. And again, I said that last week, but I can't tell you the amount of people who are like, there was one, I wish I would have saved it. I don't think I did, but there was a message I got from this girl and she was very sweet, but it was like, clearly she did not look at my page. Let me see if I saved it. I thought I did. Hold on, stand by, because it was a good one. And I'm not saying this in a shameful way. I want you to understand what I have to deal with, and I can't find it. If you're going to sell someone, really check out their content. I literally had someone message me and be like, hey, I see you post a lot about fitness. I don't post a lot about fitness, ever. Like, I make jokes about me getting out in the running stroller. I'd love for you to join my blah, 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 whatever it is. I can't be mean. And so I always respond and I'm like, thank you so much for reaching out, but I'm not interested. And usually most of the time they're like, all right, thanks. But then they'll come back and be like, are you sure? I mean, you can make so much money in your spare time. Dude, do I look like I have any spare time? I'm hiding in my goddamn closet filming a show because I can't even, there is no time. There's no time. So I don't want to sell anything. I don't want to be sold anything. I just don't. I just want people to engage with me who want to have these conversations, not to use it as a way to try and make me spend money. Don't make me spend money. I won't like it. My husband won't like it. Just don't make me spend money. Talk to me about the stuff that we're all talking about and we will be golden. That's the kind of stuff I like. And then there's like the whole next level of weirdness on social media. Like I did save this message. I've gotten this one a couple of times on different posts. Stand by. And you guys have probably seen this because I'm sure it's making its rounds. Don't even tell me I deleted that one too. It said something about if I needed a witch doctor to put a spell on my husband or anyone else in my life, they could put me in touch with someone. And it was a whole long thing. It's probably a bot. It's probably not even a real person. And now I can't even find it, which is very upsetting because I know I had it here. But then you get messages like that. And then you get messages from people just being gross, like, hey, you're really hot. Do you want to talk? Yeah, I'm really hot right now. And I'm married with 2 children. I don't want to talk to you. No, nobody wants to talk to you. I had someone pipe in, was it 2 weeks ago, you guys, talking about his penis, telling me how great his penis was. Nobody cares about your penis. So there's like a lot of gross people out there on social media. And this is why it makes me very fearful to ever let my child anywhere near social media, because I see the craziness of the people that are on there. But this is the kind of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that you don't see, and it's very upsetting. And this is, then I wonder who responds to these people. Like, I'm sure many of you guys get messages, and it could be a simple, hey, from a guy. Who actually responds? And I know people do, because that's why we have the show Catfish, which is glorious. And if you haven't watched it, you should, but I'm just going to warn you, it pretty much ends the same every time. Some poor unfortunate soul is talking to someone online for 3 years that looks like a supermodel. There's no way in hell they think that person is anyone else but that supermodel with chiseled abs and a perfect face and perfect teeth. And then they are genuinely shocked when they get there, and it's like a friend that they knew from 15 years ago that wanted to get revenge on them. It is the same show every time, but it is still very entertaining to watch. But that being said, I realize there are people responding to these crazy messages on social media, and I need to understand why. Is it loneliness? Is it entertainment? Like, what? There's nothing in my body that would ever go off of my brain that says, yes, respond to this random person from another country who's saying hello to you in your direct messages. So I need to know what makes my mom saying it happen on Sister Wives. I know, I just watched that episode, another great show. My mom and I love reality TV, not sorry about it. And Sister Wives just came back, and one of the Sister Wives got catfished by someone. It's a very unfortunate situation. I just don't get how it happens. And I'm not saying that in a judgy way. I need to understand like what happens where you lose all sense of like intuition and you talk to a stranger online that has no social media presence that you can verify, and like you have very intimate conversations. I don't get it. Karen, look how cute you are in my Florida wintries. I know, I figured I would dress for the occasion in our 54-degree weather tonight. The other thing I want to talk about in my vent sesh for social media, and this goes to both things that I'm talking about, the crazy people and just the stuff that happens on social media. I don't understand couples who share a Facebook page. I think it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I don't understand. I don't get the logic behind it. I would never in a million years share a social media page with my husband. How annoying would that be if you're a woman and you have a Facebook page and you're like sharing memes or you're having conversations? How do you know who you're even talking to? If it's like, and I said in my post, like Brenda and John Smith, like how do you know who you're having a conversation with, and why do you need to share a page? So that meme went crazy. Everybody loved it. I got tons of comments, and 99.9% of them, everyone was like, oh, it's because someone cheated and they're not going to be they don't trust the person who cheated, and so they make them have a shared social media page. If you seriously have to share a social media page, that's how much you don't trust someone, then I'm just going to say it. Maybe you should move on, because that's weird. Samantha Downs, I don't understand it either, but I do believe it's loneliness, wanting acceptance. I have friends that tell me, about the responding to strangers. I get the loneliness thing. I guess I could never be so lonely that I would respond to a stranger who could come and like cut my kidney out in the middle of the night. I don't get it. My mom's nauseated. What are you nauseated about? Carol, we have all kinds of people now able to hide behind a phone. Yep. Samantha, horrifying stories about people they meet online, and I can tell. Lynn, no sharing. Yeah, no sharing social media pages. So here's my point. So I posted a meme, and it said, couples who share a Facebook page who hurt you. If you have any sense of humor, you understand that's a joke. I actually had people reach out in comments and privately, schooling me, telling me that it is judgmental for me to say that there are couples who like to do it. Listen, if you haven't caught the drift of my sense of humor, I don't understand why you're following me, because my whole sense of humor is sarcastic and snarky and never mean-spirited, but snarky and just, I like to say, or like people tell me, is I say the things that people are thinking. I know I'm not the first person in the world to wonder why people, like couples, share Facebook pages, but I don't need like religious examples of a couple. Someone told me that there are very religious couples who do it because they don't want to have to worry about any temptation. Again, if the temptation is so strong that you have to share a Facebook page because you're worried about the other person going awry and talking to someone, that is crazy town. Samantha, from the first few lines they read, it's not a real person or they're being catfish. Sorry for all the messages, holding a baby and typing. I get it. I get it. Lynn, I had an ex reach out to me via his wife's Facebook page. No, stop it. Not even a shared page, her page. That is ballsy. Did you respond? Carol, they are not your people. No, they're not. They're the people who follow me and then get mad at the jokes I make. You're not my people. And I don't understand why you're following me if you get so bent out of shape over the jokes that I make. I like the jokes I make. So there's that. All right. So we topicked of the day. We vent seshed. And how is this, by the way? Should I do it like this? Because Jason says I need to do it like this, but I want you guys to tell me if you like it better where I just come in and go freestyle, or if there's some kind of organization. I need to know from you guys because that's why I do it. Lynn, it was my high school sweetheart, but oh well. Did you respond to him? Isn't his wife going to know? Isn't she going to see it on his page? What is wrong with people? Why are they so dumb? I don't get it. All right, some things that I love. Freestyle it. Okay, freestyle. Jason, you're being overruled. Nobody likes the format. All right, that's what we're going to do. I mean, I always make my show notes, but that's what we're going to do. But I am going to show you something that I love. So I forgot who I was talking to, but it was on here. He told her, Carol, you're not sure yet. Carol, we can have a happy medium. Stephanie, honestly, it feels like a similar format to what you were doing. It feels organic to me. Okay. All right. Okay. Good to know. I can't really, it's not like I would ever read a script or have things planned out, but Jason was just saying that he thinks I need to be like a little more organized. Samantha says freestyle. Diane says structure. It lets people know what to expect. You're a very fancy news anchor, so I'm going to take that to heart. All right. There are certain things beauty-wise and hair care-wise and all that I will drop money on. And my mom to this day does not get it. Like she still is rocking her Wet n Wild lipstick from CVS and thinks it's ridiculous that I'll spend like $20-something on a lipstick. It like horrifies her. Lynn, just do you organize or not? Thanks, Lynn. I think I will. All right. So a girl that I actually went to school with when I was younger, Nancy, told me to try the Trader Joe's vitamin E oil at night because my skin gets really, really, really dry. So I did. I bought it and I love, love, love it. I take it. It's so inexpensive. Like if you were to go buy vitamin E oil from a makeup counter, it could be probably like anywhere from $40 to $150. And it's the same thing. You're not going to fool me. It's the same thing. My mom says, tell Jason to let me do my thing. He does. He was just giving me feedback. Okay. So I take a few drops of this and I put it in moisturizer every night. And it really helps because I don't know what your skin situation is, but my skin gets so dry that it's crackly and gross and no moisturizer helps. So this has been like a saving grace. So thank you, Nancy, who told me about this. But if you want it, Trader Joe's, I'm gonna say this. I have several Trader Joe's beauty products. Who would have thought in my closet? I have this, I have one of their moisturizers, and I live for their rose whatever spray, that's toner spray. So they have a really good little selection of everyday staples to go along with your expensive things that you spend way too much money on, so it makes you feel a little bit less guilty. It's called balance, you guys. Balance and self-care. So those are my things that I would also love to know. I want you guys to message me, or you can comment here, whatever works for you, on if there are certain things. I don't like to have FOMO, fear of missing out, because I know someone's going to be like, I don't know what that means. It'll probably be my mother. FOMO is fear of missing out. I don't like to have that. And so if there are certain hot products, whether they're beauty related or stuff for the kids or just anything, there's no rules here. I want to know about them. I want to know if there's something you think that I should feature or talk about or try, because I love trying new things. And I trust you guys because you guys are my people. So keep me posted and tell me. Is there anything else that I didn't say? Diane's replying to my mom. I'm scared to comment when your mom is on here because I know she'll cut someone. Mom, Diane is amazing. She's one of my sorority sisters from UF, and she is so adorable. You would love her. She doesn't live in Florida anymore, but we talk all the time online, and you would think she's absolutely adorable. See, look, Arlene's already commenting back to you, Diane. She loves you. All right, guys. I think that's all I have tonight because it's one of those days where I feel like I can't people anymore. The comments that I've had to deal with online have literally taken life out of me because then I have to decide if I'm going to engage or not. And I made a decision yesterday that when people do come at me and tell me they don't like something I wrote, I think I have to ignore them. And I hate doing that because I feel like everyone's entitled to have an opinion, but I just can't do it. I don't have the energy. I'm just going to focus my energy on the people who jibe with me and like get it. And everyone else who starts to get judgmental or mean or nasty, I think I'm just going to ignore them and maybe they'll go away. I think that kind of has to be my new strategy because I cannot do this anymore. Carol, what's going on with your shoes? Someone stole them? Vanderpump is starting. What shoes, Carol? Who stole my shoes? Arlene Vanderpump. I know. You should let that shit fuel you. It does fuel me. But you know, at my core, I'm still a human and I'm very sensitive. And so I have to remind myself these are strangers who don't know me. But for example, I did an article last week for Pop Sugar about how it's really annoying to my daughter, my older daughter, when people constantly remind her that Sienna is her half sister. And I wrote a whole article basically saying like, stop qualifying their relationship. They're sisters, period. And nobody needs to like talk about genetics. And you cannot imagine the amount of messages I got from people who, and you can see it if you go to that Instagram post, you'll see people fighting back and forth with each other. People are mad at me because they're like, not a lot of people, most people are awesome. A few morons are like, it's science. You're lying to your children. Who's lying to anyone? They're not dumb, you guys. They know they have different fathers. It's not about that. It's not about keeping the relationships. It's about how they feel towards each other. And when people are saying to them, oh, this is your half sister, like, why do you have to be an asshole? Do you go up to someone and say, oh, is that your adopted son? Oh, is that your, you know, like you don't do that. They're your children, they're your siblings. I don't understand why people got all up in arms about my article, but the amount of messages I got, some woman told me I needed help. I needed psychiatric help because I was going to damage my children's, because I was lying to them about the sister versus half sister thing. It was ridiculous. Stephanie, good for you. I read that. Susan, are you cold? Oh, Carol, hold on. I'll get to that in a second. I'm not cold right now, but I really didn't like how my hair looked, and it's 54 degrees. So I was basically doing a little play on the fact that this is how everyone looks outside right now in Florida because it's cold for us. So Carol, people did not steal my shoes, but I love that you even noticed that they were a little sparse. I did a little more, I do like cycles of cleaning because I can't get rid of everything at once. I just have a hard time. I'm not a hoarder, but I also look at things and I'm like, oh, I might wear that. And I feel bad getting rid of things, but I just did a really big purge and got rid of a ton of shoes that were just, they shouldn't have been in my closet to begin with. Now I need to fill the space. Thank you for reminding me. Oh, Diane, when people are nasty to me, my boss makes me read mean tweets posts. Like the mean tweets posts are amazing. And Diane, you should, because I know you being on air, I know you probably get a lot of messages, and we talked about this a little bit privately, like just crazy messages from people. I'm going to tell you that I did my own version of the mean tweets thing. I don't know if you remember, but a few years ago when I wrote my first article for Scary Mommy, and it was the first time I'd had anything published outside of my blog. It was about divorce, and I had crazy people saying really mean things, and that's when I never read comments again, but I read them aloud on video and kind of like made fun of them, and it was a very therapeutic process. And so not only should you read the mean tweets by Jimmy Kimmel, but you should consider doing it yourself. Even if it never sees the light of day, you will laugh when you see yourself read them out loud. There's something very humorous about the lengths that really angry people will go through to express their feelings towards you. I highly recommend it. Maybe just do it in the newsroom before you go on. Get together and do it. Samantha, I can't tell you how many people I know have shared that article with positive thoughts and love it. Thank you so much. Thank you. That makes me happy. And for the most part, I know I'm bitching about social media, but the people who reach out to me are so wonderful. And I feel like I know all these people all over the place. And it really is a pretty incredible thing to find these connection points over everything, whether it's our kids or our husbands leaving laundry on the floor or kids leaving cheese stick wrappers everywhere, because I have cheese stick wrappers everywhere. It is nice to know that you have a lot in common with strangers and it's universal. Diane, I will do this on air. I mean, on Facebook. Diane, do it, please. And when you do it, I need you to share it with me immediately. All right, I'm going to go get in the shower. I need to watch Colton on The Bachelor. And you know, it's real life. I can't do it. I need to like veg out now and turn my brain off. So thank you guys for joining me. I'll try and do better next week and make it feel a little less structured, but still have these topics so that we can actually have some kind of agenda, because I think it does work a little bit. And I love you all every week for being here for me and with me. This is the highlight of my week, is talking to you guys. So have a wonderful rest of the week, and I will see you next week. Bye, everyone.